Welcome everyone to my channel. In today's video, we will discuss part 4 of the book, The Autobiography of Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom. Let's begin. In 1952, Chief Albert Luthuli became the leader of the ANC, ready to take a more active approach. Mandela supported him, but after being arrested, he couldn't attend meetings or leave Johannesburg. Even so, Mandela secretly worked on a plan called the M Plan, which was meant to help local communities organize and connect with each other across the country. The M Plan had some success, but Mandela soon realized that the government would respond much faster and more harshly than anyone expected. While continuing his activism, Mandela also worked at various law firms. He studied for the qualification exam and eventually passed, becoming a fully qualified attorney. In August 1952, he and fellow African lawyer Oliver Tambo opened their own law office, the first in the country owned by African lawyers. The firm provided legal help to African people, particularly those charged with entering whites-only areas. Although the government attempted to close them down for not having the necessary permit, they were eventually able to resolve the issue. The nationalist government starts forcibly relocating Africans to new areas, and the ANC steps in to try to halt these removals. At one meeting about this issue, Mandela takes a more extreme stance than he ever had before, suggesting that violence might be needed to resist apartheid. He reasons that, although nonviolent resistance was successful for Gandhi, the nationalists were different. They were from within South Africa and acted more harshly. However, Mandela's strong statements sometimes create tension with other members of the ANC. Although Mandela has grown accustomed to city life, a part of him still feels most at peace in rural areas. This feeling is evident when he drives out to the Orange Free State to celebrate the end of the government's travel ban on him. However, when he arrives in the rural area, the police are waiting for him and impose even stricter restrictions, further limiting his movement and forcing him to resign from the ANC. Mandela is devastated by this, feeling deeply frustrated by being pushed to the sidelines of a cause that has become the core of his life. Since Mandela is unable to attend the ANC conference, another executive member reads out the speech he had prepared, which later becomes known as the No Easy Walk to Freedom speech, named after a line from Jawaharlal Nehru. Meanwhile, some of Mandela's opponents try to have his attorney accreditation revoked because of his political involvement. However, he successfully defends himself in court, thanks to a judge who values judicial independence and does not simply side with the nationalists. Activists keep organizing rallies to protest the government's plan to evict African people from their homes. Within the ANC, there are ongoing debates about whether or when to use violence in their resistance. In 1953, the nationalist government introduces the Bantu Education Act, which seeks to control and limit the education of African people. Many religious organizations, which manage some of the schools, strongly oppose this law because it gives the government more power over the education system. The ANC tries to organize a school boycott, but it doesn't go very well and isn't very successful. Still, the government ends up making some changes to the Bantu Education Act. Around this time, the ANC grows stronger and organizes a big national meeting called the Council of the Congress of the People. It's led by Chief Luthuli. This meeting isn't just for black South Africans. It's open to everyone living in South Africa. People from all over the country travel to Kliptown, a village near Johannesburg, to take part. Even though Nelson Mandela isn't allowed to travel, he drives to Kliptown anyway, but stays out of sight on the edges of the event. On the second day of the meeting, while the ANC is working on finishing a charter, the police show up and shut it down. Even though the convention is broken up, the message of the charter still spreads across the country. It becomes a kind of plan or guide for the fight for freedom. In September 1955, Mandela's travel ban ends. He drives through the countryside, visiting places near where he grew up. At one stop, a police sergeant tries to hold him, but when Mandela gets the officer to admit he's not actually under arrest, the sergeant has to let him go. Mandela visits his mother in Qunu and sees his sisters. Then he goes to Mqhekezweni to see Justice, who still lives there. As he travels, Mandela feels nervous and suspicious. At one point, he even wonders if a hitchhiker he picks up might be a spy. But when he visits Cape Town, where activism isn't as common as in Johannesburg, he feels inspired. The passion of the local ANC members gives him new energy. When Mandela gets back to Johannesburg, there's a debate happening about whether the ANC should take part in the Bantu authority system. Mandela thinks it might be a chance to share the ANC's ideas and message. But younger activists strongly disagree. They don't want anything to do with the apartheid system. Their passion and refusal to compromise remind Mandela of how he used to be when he was younger. Mandela also agrees that the government's plan to move African people based on their ethnic groups is unfair and harsh. He says it's like the government is treating people's lives like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. Mandela gets banned again, this time for 5 years, from traveling and going to political meetings. But he's more determined than ever to keep fighting for what he believes in, even with the ban in place. During this time, one of the main problems he tries to help with isn't political. It's at a local boxing gym where he trains. Some of the boxers feel the gym owner isn't taking care of the place, so they want to leave and start a new gym. Mandela sets up a meeting with both sides to talk it out, but they can't come to an agreement. He follows the boxers to a few new places, but none of them are better than the original gym. Even though he can't solve the issue, Mandela stays interested in boxing. He admires how many African boxers, even without much money, have beaten the odds and earned worldwide respect. Conclusion of Part 4, Long Walk to Freedom by Nelson Mandela, in simple language. Part 4 of Long Walk to Freedom shows how Mandela continues to grow both as a leader and as a person. Even though he faces travel bans, police harassment, and political challenges, he stays committed to the struggle for freedom. He learns to balance his beliefs with the changing views of younger activists and becomes more understanding of different opinions within the movement. While his work becomes more restricted, Mandela never gives up. Whether he's dealing with political debates or small community issues, like the conflict at the boxing gym, he keeps trying to help and bring people together. This part ends with Mandela more determined than ever to keep fighting for justice, no matter the obstacles in his way. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and consider supporting the channel through the donation link in the description. Don't forget to visit our Ko-Fi channel for exclusive book summaries.